market doing really well. We know that a lot of Americans are struggling. What would the Warren administration do to change the way we talk about the health of our economy in a way that's more holistic and doesn't cause us to lose sight of that suffering?
Okay, it's a great question, Chris. You know, there used to be a time when there were like 2 or 3 key economic indicators: how the stock market is doing, how GDP is going, how unemployment is going. 2 of them up, 1 of them down. And that meant generally America was doing pretty well. Not everybody, but we were all kind of moving in the same direction. And then, about 4 decades ago, I don't know, like when Ronald Reagan got elected. I'm just saying. You watch, and they start to divide. So GDP keeps going up, stock market keeps going up, right? Unemployment sometimes goes down, sometimes goes up. But hardworking middle-class families, wages just flatten out. And I don't know about the rest of you. Anybody's housing costs go up? Yeah. Yeah. Anybody's health insurance costs go up? Yeah. Cost of childcare? Yeah, cost of sending somebody or going to college. Yeah. So the costs go up, incomes are flat, and hardworking people are just squeezed in the middle. And so you're exactly right. When we talk about our economy, right now, what we're often doing is just talking about how's it working for the richest. How's it working for the, listen, and it's working great for them. The top 1/10 of 1%, they're doing fabulous. The top 1% is doing pretty darn good, right? The problem is the 90%. It's not just the poorest, it's all of them. It's everybody on the way down. So, here's how I think about this. I like to reframe this as a values question. Show me your budget, and I'll tell you your values. Right on. Show me how the federal government's budget works. Tell me where you think money should be. Do we need to leave 2 cents with the top 1/10 of 1%? Or 2 cents that we invest in every kid in this country, in building a future for them? And by the way, I'll throw in a couple of quick ones because you gave me an opening to do this. And that is, because I got some other plans, I just want to give a quick mention to. I've got a plan to build about 3.2 million new housing units across this country. It gives opportunity for housing to middle-class families, to working-class families, to the working poor, to the poor, to the homeless, to seniors that want to age in place, to people with disabilities so that they'll have housing opportunities. Yeah. Best independent estimate is it'll bring down rents across this country by about 10%. It's not huge, but it's the right direction to start doing it. We'll make that investment. And it's a place for me to say something else. Housing is a perfect example. We make a big investment in everybody because we should. Housing is America's middle-class #1 way to build wealth for each family and generation after generation. That is why the federal government for decades subsidized the purchase of housing for white people. And for black people said, not you. We will actively discriminate against African Americans who are trying to get mortgages and subsidize whites. So my housing plan is a big housing plan for everyone, and then has a special section to say people who live in formerly redlined areas or who were targeted during the last housing crash that targeted people of color are going to get home buyers assistance to get back into the housing.
Senator Warren, how are you doing? Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to hear you and all of your ideas. Thank you for the hard work.
Thank you. Tell me your name.
My name is Diego Feliciano.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I was born in Bolivia. I moved to the United States in 2014. With these 5 years, I saw how my community started to become scared and afraid, and how they don't participate anymore in activities regularly because of the political change that we had in 2016. My question is, as president, how will you help the Hispanic community to get back that trust and love for the country that we worked so far?
So let me start by saying I'm very glad you're here. Not just tonight, but I'm glad you've been here now for 5 years. And glad you're part of our country. Let's talk a little bit about immigration, and then let's talk a little bit about respect. Okay? So first, about immigration. I got a plan for that. And I just want to lay out the outlines because I want everyone to hear this. And it starts with a basic statement of our values. Immigration does not make America weaker, it makes America stronger. It makes our economy stronger and it makes the fabric of our nation stronger. So my immigration plan has basically 3 parts to it. Part 1, we need to expand legal immigration across this country. Families have been held apart, it's not right. Trump has been shrinking legal immigration, we need to expand it. And that's also true for people who are here on temporary protected status, people who are here seeking asylum, refugees, it's every part of this. Part 2. We need a pathway to citizenship for the people who are here. Yes, the dreamers, but it doesn't stop there. It's about our dreamers, it's about grandmas, it's about little kids, it's about people who came to work agriculture, it's about people who overstayed student visas. These are our friends, these are our neighbors, these are people who contribute to our economy and the vibrancy of our country. We need a path to citizenship that is fair and achievable, and we need it now. So that's Part 3, we need to stop this Trump-made crisis at our southern border. This crisis turned into a crisis first when the Trump administration withdrew help from the countries of Central America. When people see nothing around them but destruction, when they see an economy that doesn't work, when they have a government that is not functioning, that is when people fear for their lives and have to run. We need first to restore our help to Central America, help stabilize those governments, help stabilize that economy. So that's part of it, but it's not all of it. We need to live our values. When it first came out that the Trump administration was separating children from their families, I went down to the border. I went down to McAllen, Texas, before they started locking people from Congress out. I went down, and I just briefly, because I want everyone to keep this image in your mind about what was happening, and still is. Picture an Amazon warehouse, only it's dirty, it smells bad, and it's full of cages of people. And that's what it was like. Cages of women on my left, maybe 10 feet wide, 40 feet deep, a toilet in the back corner, so crowded with people they couldn't all lie down at the same time. Cages of men, and then walk into the main area, and there they were, the freestanding cages of little girls. Another cage of little girls over there. Nothing. They had nothing. They had aluminum foil blankets, and that was it. No toys, nothing. There was a guard tower in the center, a little wooden guard tower. so one person could watch all those little girls. Back in one corner was a cage of nursing mothers. And I stopped and talked with the mothers. One mother told me she had given a drink of water to a policeman in her home country in Central America. And she said the next day the word came back that the gangs believe she's working with the police. And she knew what that meant. She and her baby would be killed. She wrapped up her baby and ran for the border. When people come to our borders frightened for their lives, frightened for the lives of their children, we are a country that welcomes them and tries to help them. That is who we are. For a long time on this, but one last small part on this that I just want to add. We need to get rid of for-profit detention centers and for-profit prisons. Nobody should make a profit from locking people up. So, last thing I want to say about this is do understand that what's going on right now with the Trump administration, with Donald Trump himself, this is not accidental. This is strategic. Donald Trump believes that if he can turn people against people in our country, white against black and brown, straight against gay, and trans, particularly against trans, Christian against Muslim, and everybody against immigrants, particularly black and brown immigrants. He believes that if he can get that going and stir it up, that kind of hatefulness in America, that nobody will notice that he and his corrupt buddies are stealing this country blind.
Hi, Sonia Ozorek. I'm a senior at Old Dominion University.
So wait a minute, what are you majoring in?
Geography and International Studies.
Wow!
I'm the vice president of the ODU Democrats, and some of us are over there. Both of my professors, the one that's recording me and one right over there. I'm so happy to see everyone here.
Is she getting extra credit for this? Good. Okay, good. You're getting extra credit. I just negotiate. I know how to negotiate.
So I called my mom. I had no idea what I wanted to ask, but I guess.
So this is your helpline. You called mom and said, what would you answer,
My
Mom?
mom is the world to me, and
Good.
I had to call her.
Okay.
So what we came up with was, what is the single most impactful event of your life that has made you the woman you are today?
You mean other than marrying Bruce? You know, that is it's a hard question. But I actually think it's the story I told you. I mean, you know, if I spent more time, maybe, I guess I think it's the story I told you about when I was 19 and I got married to the guy who'd been my first boyfriend, first guy who'd ever dated me, first guy who'd ever dumped me. It's true. And when he dropped back into my life and proposed, I said yes in a nanosecond. That was going to be my path. And I thought I'd given everything else up. And when the little glimmer was out there, that little bit that I had far on the horizon, it looked like at the time, the chance for me to finish my education so I could do the work I wanted to be able to do. It was like something opened up in me. And it was the idea that somebody somewhere had helped build that thing that gave me a chance, that let me fall off the track and get back on. And when I did, I held on for dear life. I still remember how much I sweated about the books, about the classes, about the commute. You know what that's like. But so afraid that I'd screw this up and I wouldn't be able to finish it. And by the time I graduated and I got my first job working with the little ones, for me it became a kind of pattern that things opened up in my life and then I got a chance to reach and help somebody else out. And sometimes it was little tiny kids, later it was big kids. This is what ultimately pulled me into politics. Not in a million years did I ever think I would run for public office. I was just going to be the dork, you know, it's true. The teacher, the researcher, man, I would feed the information over. I'd go try to talk to people. I'd tell them, here's what's broken, here's what you could do about it. I spent, God, 8 years saying, there's a crash coming, and nobody wanted to hear it. But what I started to figure out when I made the decision to run for public office is you can actually build structures that open up more possibilities for everybody else. It's great to do it hand over hand, but it's also great to do it big time. I have to tell you all, running for president is just an extraordinary experience for me.
We love you, Elizabeth Warren!
And that means I'm not going to get, but I am just going to say, it is extraordinary. It's extraordinary because this is the moment. This is our moment. You know, when I first started running, people said to me, I go back to Washington, and experts, also known as senators, would say to me, hey, I saw you were out on the trails, this is that. What you're doing isn't going to work. It's too hard. People do not want to hear plans. That sounds boring, it's complicated, that is not how you run for, what you need to do, talk in generalities and smile more. That's what people told me. It's too hard. What you're asking of people is too hard. And the first time I heard that, you know what I thought? I thought, what do you think they said to the abolitionists? Right? Said, it's too hard. Right? We're not going to make that kind of change. Whoa, that's way too hard. What do you think they said just a little over 100 years ago to the suffragettes? They said, too hard, give up now. What did they say to the early union organizers? Too hard, give up now. What did they say to the foot soldiers in the civil rights movement? Too hard, give up now. What were they saying a decade ago to the LGBTQ plus activists who wanted equal marriage? Too hard, give up now. But here's the thing, they didn't give up. Grassroots movement. They persisted. And they changed the course of American history. This is our moment in American history. Our moment to dream big, to fight hard, and to win.
selfies.